Okay, magandang gabi ho sa inyo lahat. Welcome ho sa ating program. Ako po si Sunny Laragan. It's a happy Tuesday, Pagkagantong Tuesday, I'm sure na mapangiti kayo dahil siyempre yung makakasama ko, hindi ho dahil sa akin kaya kayo nangingiti at natutuwa, kundi doon sa ating napaka-cute, no? Well, cute kasi well, matalino, maganda, no? At siya ho ay batang-batang partner, no? Ng kanilang law firm, head of litigation, no? Yan ang ating laging nakakausap kapag Tuesday ho, no, nakakasama. And syempre, ito yung dagdag kaalaman para ho sa inyo, para sa mga problemang legal or things that you'd like to find out, no, kung sakaling meron kayong problemang legal, ika nga. Okay, well, hindi ko na pahabain kasi maraming kwento to. Ito, parang ano natin, source of information to. Every week, meron tayong update dito. Bagamat napaka-busy at napaka-hectic na kanyang schedule, no? Dahil lalo na ngayon na ano na, virtual na yung mga mostly mga cases yata, di ba? Or mga interactions with clients and even courts, no? Medyo kakaibang mundo, ika nga, at busy-busy to. Siyempre, pakilala natin yung ating pinakamamahal na abogada, walang iba kundi si Attorney DANNA Quinto. Attorney, magandang gabi sa iyo.
Magandang gabi, Mr. Laragan. Magandang gabi, everyone. Good evening. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Ewan ko sa inyo, but ako, napapangiti ako pagkasama kita, Mr. Laragan. So,
Ikaw
hindi...
talaga, binabalikan mo ko. Hindi, totoo talaga. Everybody, when they, the show, ako, actually, ang style ko, para akong seryoso, suplado raw ako eh. Pero pagka gantong Tuesday, hindi yung para seryoso, siguro baka mahihain ako. Attorney, no? Mahihain ako. Kaya siguro parang, kunyari, ano lang, suplado na lang, kunyari, no? Pero, yeah,
Okay.
every Tuesday, natutuwa ako dahil magkasama tayo. And that's just nice, no? Because nagiging very light, nagiging seryoso yung legal problems. Although syempre parang ano yan, no? Syempre sometimes problema yan, no? 'Di ba? May mga tense
Mm,
moments din yan. Merong mga, 'di ba, yung mga divorce, kung ano-ano pang mga at kung ano-ano pa yan, no? So ayun, at least ngayon napapangiti tayong lahat ng dahil sa iyo. So good evening. How was your week? No, we missed you for the past 7 days. The last time we saw you was Tuesday, no? And hopefully, maganda na yung
was
ating signal. Tuloy-tuloy na at bumabawi. Baka nahihiya na. Yung ating, yung kung sino man, kung si Facebook o si ano, no? Baka nahihiya na sa atin na, uy, medyo babawi
Naging
tayo.
Happy Tuesday
So, good
yung
evening.
internet. Yeah, good evening, good
Happy
evening. It's
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday
Hmm.
din yung
Uy,
internet.
sana.
It's been 6, 7 days na 7 days. Yeah, marunong pa rin ako magbilang.
Hmm.
7 days since the last time I saw it. It's been a bit crazy. Ano ba nangyari? A few virtual. You mentioned remote hearings, so most of the hearings now are remote, including. So I attended just to also share. So I normally go for every year may volunteering akong pinupuntahan sa Lake District around this time, second Sunday ng November. So one of my closest friends, professional and personal friend, is a Jewish lady, and may giving back day po sila. Tawag nila mitzvah day. I just want to talk about a little bit about this. So every year, simula 3 years ago, this is already started many years back, 11 years. But nasama lang ako since about 3 years ago. So I go, kung sino man taga
Hmm.
Cumbria dyan, taga Lake District, hello. So I go there around this time. Nagtanim ako ng puno. Ano pa ba ginawa ko? So we were doing a bit of work for yung local community and mga refugees.
Hmm.
And katulad ng lahat ng bagay this year, virtual din ang volunteering this year. So,
Oh,
ramdam na ramdam,
paano yun?
virtual via Zoom. Via Zoom. So they too had
Via
to
Zoom.
via
Okay.
Zoom. We had to work as a group in collating some sort of learning resource para sa isang refugee community. So I just want to say yung ano ka din lahat nag-adjust kahit dati pwede ka mag-volunteer to turn up sa mountains now. They too have to change their program so that we can still do it but safely. So that's one of parang isa sa mga ano, good vibes din. Good vibes din naman mag ano, pero hopefully, no, parang last week, nag-suffer din yung bandwidth ng internet ko. Medyo
Oo
na
nga, oo.
hindi siya happy, hindi siya happy Sunday nung yung internet ko. Pero mukhang narinig tayo ng universe ngayon. It's a lot better now. It's clearer. Hindi tayo
Yes.
nagahang. So hopefully,
Yes.
we'll be able to give you much more information today. It's 38 days before Christmas, Mr. Laragan. So hindi lang
Is it?
tayo weather
Oo,
prophet.
ba, bilang,
Kalendaryo din po tayo. 38 days before Christmas.
okay. Well, naalala ko when I was a DJ back home during my younger days, ayan, nag-ano kami, parang countdown, no? Kung
Yan.
ano, kung ilang days, teka, nasa ba ako, ba't bigla ako nawala? Kasi I'm trying
Wala
to,
ka,
we're
samahan
trying
mo
to
ako.
work out. And then kasi we're trying to work
Ayoko
out.
mag-monologue.
Attorney kasi we're trying to work out kasi yung mga greetings kasi natin, there was a time na medyo nawawala-wala, di ba? So, okay,
Yeah.
pabatiin natin yung ano, may mga first na mga bumati sa atin. Let's say hello to, ito, si Glo Marie. Ako, ito, talagang parang gusto kong awayin to. Alam mo, pasisira ang Pasko ko pagka ako'y medyo gusto makipag-away, ito ang awayin ko, si Glo Marie. Alam mo kung bakit?
Bakit po?
Pagkahaba-haba ng pangalan niya, Glo Marie Rose Cancino, may Martinez pa yata, no? Buti tonight, medyo
Yeah.
napaiksi natin ng konti. Ang haba ng pangalan niya. Ayan, oh. May
Globally,
Martinez yan. Glo Marie
greeting.
Rose Cancino. Oh, yeah. Yes. De, pero friend natin. We love her. Nagdi-joke lang tayo. Sabi niya, good evening, Sir Sunny.
Yay,
Good evening,
Robert.
Attorney Dana. Ayun, bumabati
Yeah.
ka agad siya, no?
Yung,
Ito.
yung, yung buong
Ito yung
pangalan
mga
ko po
regulars
actually
natin.
mahaba. Yeah,
Really?
mahaba din.
Anong pangalan mo? Anong real name mo? Kasi sa
Danilyn
akin, Joseph,
Christina.
Sunny, Daneline, Christina?
Christina, opo. Yeah, Danilyn Christina. Yeah.
Wow. Haba rin pala. Daneline Christina, no? Daneline is Dannilyn kagad?
One,
O may ano?
one N lang. One N lang. One N lang yung Danilyn.
One N lang. Okay, Daneline. Oo. Ba, Christina. Pero mas preferred mo
Yeah.
yung Daneline, yung Dana, compared to Christina.
Ano po, kasi ang haba ng Danilyn. Na, na, na,
Okay.
nasabi ko yung,
Okay.
masasabi ko yung tao bago masabi yung pangalan ko. Dana na lang.
Dana, oo. When I was in grade school, ang tawag sa akin, most of my classmates were Joseph, no? Hanggang sa lumaki ako, parang ang formal nung ano, Joseph, sabi ko, Sunny ang tunay kong
Joseph.
pangalan. So, Sunny. So, it's my second name.
Sana.
Yours is your first name, no? Yung Dana
Yeah,
ang ginagamit
Dana
mo.
po.
Oo. Ito, haba ng pangalan, Glo Marie. Kaya kita mo, medyo nagalit yung ating ano, sabi niya, medyo iksiyan din natin. Oh, teka muna, si Emmeline Rafael. Good evening, Sunny and Attorney Dana and everyone. Nice to see you both again tonight. Yes, it's nice. It's nice, no? Yes, sila. They're really, how would you say, yung mga consistent natin, attorney, no? Talagang, kumbaga, kung pwede tayong gumawa ng party na, ano, ito yung mga select people na andyan dyan
Mm,
sila, di ba? Every Tuesday,
thank you.
kasama natin, and that's very inspiring to know that these people are there, no? And they're happy na educate sila doon sa ating legal ano no, legal thing, no? Teka lang, yung mga
Exactly.
pagbati lang. Ito
Exactly.
yung damer nating ma'am, no? Damer nating ma'am to, eh.
Wow.
Si Oo, si Ma'am Cora Carsola. Good evening, Sir Sunny. Cute. Cute Preet. Ikaw pala. Akala ko ako yung cute. Ikaw pala yon. Medyo nagkamali. Lumagpas. Hindi pala sa akin yon. Cute Preet. Hindi, alam ko naman. Alam ko naman, Ma'am Cora, no? Alam ko kay Cute Pretty Attorney Dana Quinto. Siyempre, no? Emmeline Rafael
Go,
says, good evening once
go.
again to everyone. Mm.
Tuesday. Happy
Happy
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yan. Ito si Juliet Albiado Marcelino. Alam mo, minsan parang naka-experience ka ba o may nadinig ka ba na, kunyari sinama ka lang, kung sino yung sinama, siya pa yung nanalo, siya pa yung alam mo na, yung may mga ganon.
Yung,
yung, may,
ano,
yung
pinalagtad
unang may
lang eh. Siya pa
intention,
yung ano. Mm-hmm.
oo, yeah. Si Juliet, yan, talagang love na love natin to. Lagi siyang very dedicated dito sa ating station, sa iyo, no? Watching your program. Uh, and doon sa Sabado Panalo, nag-ano siya, attorney, nagyakag siya na taga France na sumali sa ating Sabado Panalo. Alam mo, nanalo yung taga France. si, si Juliet almost week in, week out sumasali, no? Ganun talaga, no? So, sabi
Ganun
niya,
talaga,
sa ating attorney, Miss
Juliet.
Yan. Attorney Miss Dana, Happy Tuesday. Ayan, talagang
Happy
kumalat na yung
Tuesday,
Happy Tuesday natin, Attorney. Ha?
nakakatuwa.
Oo.
Edgardo, ano
Mary
ka na?
Grace Payumo Cirilla,
Zoril,
Cirilla, pag ano,
Zorilla,
Cirilla, sabi niya,
Zorilla,
good
very
evening
great.
po sa inyo, Attorney Dana and Kuya Sunny. Ayan, ito, yung best friend mo. Best friend nating talagang in terms of
Edgar,
akyatan, Edgar. Oh, mabuhay, Edgar. Good
Edgar.
evening,
Ang ganda niya na,
Attorney DQ
legendary
and
laragan ko yan.
legendary Laragan. Oo.
Ang
Binawi
ganda.
naman dito dahil si Ma'am Cora, sabi niya cute, no? Ano sabi niya, cute and pretty. Ayun. Ah,
Salamat
hindi
po,
pwede sabihin cute
Cora.
sa akin, ano? Oo,
Hindi,
thanks Ma'am
para sa'yo
Cora. Ha?
yun,
Si
para
Ma'am Cora,
sa'yo yun.
hindi pa pwedeng cute eh.
Guwapa.
Kakapusin na attorney
Siyempre.
eh. Oya, how do you read that? How do you read that? How would you read that? No?
Ano how do you
Oy,
read that? Ojayam
Oja Yemye,
Marinel.
Si Marinel Ohadyan.
Marinel.
Oh,
Good
good
evening
evening to you,
din.
to both of you, Madam and Sir. Yes, oo.
Good
Ito si Edgardo, ito
evening.
yung mahilig sa Happy Tuesday, no? Sabi ni Edgardo, good evening Kuya Sunny and Attorney Dana. Happy Tuesday. Ayan, to everyone. Uy.
Good evening,
Nako, ito na
Edgardo.
naman. Ito si Darmin. Nako, talagang napakabait talaga ni Darmin. Sabi niya, good evening Kuya Sunny and no, beautiful Dana. Ayan,
Right.
talaga nga namang,
Darwin. Gorgeous Darwin. Good evening.
oo, Darmin, good evening. Darmin, good evening, ha? At nakakatuwa, no? Yung maski saan, no? Okay. So, ito. Thank you, sa Mabati si Juliet. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you rin, ha? Nakita ko
Juliet.
na si Juliet na nakapag-live sa atin kasi we can also uh, entertain callers na ano, yung thank you. May Vargas Tiglao. May Tigbao Vargas. Ito yung ano, good evening, Sir Sunny, Attorney Dana, and to everyone watching the program, watching from Exeter, Devon. Happy Tuesday. May mabuhay, ha?
Happy
Mabuhay ka,
Tuesday,
May.
May. Buhay ka. Ingat dyan.
Pag wala na attorney ano no, pag wala na tayong ano ba tawag dito? Wala na tayong uh, pandemic, no? Siguro pwede tayong one tour, bus ride, no? Lahat-lahat sama yan,
Yeah.
no? And live, no? Magkakasama tayo.
That would be
Mabuhay
good.
kayo, ha? We really miss you guys because you make our Tuesday happy. At syempre,
Now I
si
could,
attorney makes us
yeah.
happy, no? Attorney, you make us really, truly happy with your presence and your knowledge, no? Yung ginagawa mo sa amin. Okay, ano pag-uusapan? May
Thank you.
pag-uusapan ba? Teka muna, mag-break muna tayo, attorney. Break lang muna tayo.
Sige
Bago
pa.
tayo, ano
Bago
pag-uusapan?
tayo.
Bago break tayo, tapos pag-break natin, then you can start discussing. Anong i-discuss? May di-discuss ka ba today?
Yeah, meron po. Child arrangements court process. Yung overview ng court process kung may problema kayo sa yung tinatawag na custody pero hindi na nga yun yung term. Pero marami kasi may problema ng ganyan ngayon. So, I'm gonna give the overview later.
Yes. Okay, so parang child custody, no? Custody ng mga anak. Pag-uusapan natin.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Huwag mo kayong aalis, no? Mag-break lang muna kami ni attorney. At pagbalik namin, siyempre, tuloy-tuloy ang ating discussion dito sa Legal Advice Corner with Attorney Dana Quinto, no? And yours truly. Saglit po lamang.
May problema ka ba sa landlord mo? Baka AV ka na ni Kuya. May problema sa mga kapitbahay, sa trabaho. O kaya naman kay Mister o kay Mrs. Away tungkol sa mana, mga may utang, mga aksidente, daing o laban sa ospital or sa NHS, harassment, o baka naman may stalker ka na gusto mong ireklamo. Punta na sa DV Solicitors para matulungan ka pagdating sa mga litigations at iba pang mga legal concerns. DV Solicitors at Mayfair House, 11 Lurk Street, Bedford, MK40 3HZ. Tumawag sa 01234-350-244 or 01234-225-188 o kaya naman mag-email sa d.quinto@dvsolicitors.com. Visit our website at www.dvsolicitors.com.
During these trying times, we salute the frontliners who are tirelessly caring for all of us against the COVID-19. to all the courageous nurses, doctors, carers, and paramedics at the NHS. Words are not enough to thank you. We at Highlight Express International are here to support you back with a full semester 10% discount when you send your balikbayan boxes to your family in the Philippines. Dahil ang Highlight Express International ay para sa pamilya.
Okay, tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating show, no?
Alright.
Programa, no? Itong Legal Advice Corner with Attorney Dana Quinto. Gusto ko lang muna, bago kita, bago mapunta sa yung floor muna, Attorney, gusto ko lang banggitin lang na yung mga messages ho ninyo, na minsan ho, baka ayoko magtampo kayo, no? Pag hindi ho namin nabasa, nag-i-skip ho yun eh. May parang nag-i-skipping ni Attorney yung ating social media picker, no? May mga iba ang hindi nakukuha. So, minsan nakikita ko na lang sa ating mismo sa Facebook page natin, no? Gusto ko lang muna i-comment lang, no, si Cherry Santa Romana Nonong, because she shared this tong ating program. I don't know if you know her, no? Sherry
Yeah.
Santa Romana Nonong. Of course, si Darmin Ballarino. Darmin, thank you very much for sharing this show natin, tong Legal Advice Corner. We would really appreciate you guys if you share this thing para ho malaman ng ating mga kababayan, mas marami hong makaalam. Attorney, kaya ako rin sabi, bago ko bigyan ng chance na magsalita na, may si Joey Remigio, and I don't know kung nakita mo yung message niya. Sabi niya, yes po. So, di ba, you said child custody. Ang sabi niya, yes
Correct.
po, paano po ba yon? Child allowance din po. I don't know if you can, or siguro mamaya na yun, kung
Yeah,
hindi mo kasama sa discussion mo, mamaya na natin itanong sa iyo yun. Okay?
pwede rin.
Okay
Yeah.
na ba, attorney?
Exactly.
Ready ka na?
Okay,
Okay.
yes,
Sige,
part
ito na ho,
two,
mga
yes.
kaibigan. Si attorney,
Exactly.
para sa child custody, dahil masyadong mainit to, ditong panahong may lockdown 2, lalong-lalo na sa atin. Take it away, attorney.
Right, okay. So, isa sa mga tinatanong sa akin these days because again of lockdown number 2 and because of the restrictions surrounding ng buhay natin ngayon is paano ko makikita yung anak ko? First of all, let's clarify that. Sabi ni Prime Minister Boris is yung mga anak na may dalawang household ay separado or divorce yung parents nila, they can still be moved from one household or another. However, syempre hindi ganun ka simple ang buhay natin. Sometimes, sasabihin ng isang parent, ay, ayoko talaga kasi dun sa area nila mataas yung COVID. O kaya ang balita ako may kapitbahay dun na may COVID or extremely exposed yung ex ko sa COVID na virus na to. So I'd stop contact. Not necessarily about COVID as well. Minsan may mga issue na uh, arise because of for one reason or another, that one parent would say, ay ayoko kasi exposed dyan or may risk yung bata kapag kukunin or dadalhin nung kabilang parent niya to their side. So may mga issues that arises with what we normally term as custody, pero hindi na po yan ang terminology namin ngayon. There is a live with parent kung saan nakatira yung bata, and then the other parent would have a contact with the child. So contact with, yun yung term natin. The reason being is gusto nilang i-neutralize yung terms. They don't want that connotation na may nanalong parent. What they want is for it to be neutral. What the court always say is, hopefully between sa inyong mga magulang, sa inyong parents, you can decide what is the best for your child. The paramount consideration, and I keep saying this every single time I talk about child arrangement proceedings, there is one paramount consideration. Pinakamataas na konsiderasyon is the best welfare of the children. What is in the best interest of these children? So every time the court decides, sa process man, sa hearing, or when they establish a recommendation, they would always test it against that paramount consideration. Now, if you really can't agree, tatanungin nung katulad ni nung kababayan natin, ano bang process? So the first actually is I touched upon it, try to agree. So the court would actually say to you, please can you go through some form of mediation? May tinatawag silang MIAM, Mediation Information Assessment Meeting. Kung suitable ba kayo na for you to talk about it in a neutral setting. Hindi ito applicable sa lahat, especially if may domestic violence or may mga high risk of injury or yung nga may mga exposure sa bata and talagang complete breakdown na yung relationship ng yung dalawa. But it would always be good to just think about whether suitable ba sa inyo mag-usap pa bago pumunta sa korte. So that's the first stop, unang pit stop bago mo i-submit yung application, bago mo i-trigger yung court process. Think about whether or not this is suitable for mediation. Go to mediation meeting, mediation information assessment meeting. And if talagang hindi applicable, may exemption dun sa court form. So the court form is called C-100. It's a fairly straightforward form. To provide all the information that gusto mo bigyan ka ng contact dahil please stop yung other parent with the contact or you stop doing some itawag doon the other parent, or if you want full, kumbaga yung dati natin tinatawag na custody, you want to be the resident parent, you want to be the parent. So you can ask the court, you can put there ano yung gusto mo mangyari. And ano yung issues, why? Bakit ganun nangyari, ano yung background information. So there we are. Those are, for some reason, nandyan sa ating share screen ni Mr. Laragan, yung apply for
Yan ba
child rights. That was very good, thank you.
yan ba yung C100? Tama ba yan? Yan ba yung sinasabi mo C100, attorney?
Correct.
Okay. Pinapakita ko lang parang ano lang, para I just
very
found.
good, thank you.
Okay.
So once you
Ayan.
send
So,
that,
yan.
yeah, apply for C100. So yeah, if you, I can't see the whole thing, but that's the first form. Once you, yeah, there we are. Yeah, child arrangement. I said about prohibitive steps, specific issue. Minsan, ang pag-aawayan nyo lang, meron ako nun kung saan mag-aaral ang bata. Specific issues about that. There we go. Actually, yeah. Mediation, yun yung sinasabi ko. Mediation and assessment. So, parent for the rest of this child's life. So it is important, as much as possible, na ma-preserve nyo yung co-parenting relationship nyo, if it is at all possible. Dahil, again, yun ay for the best interest of the child. It's scientifically proven na mas maayos para sa bata na may healthy relationship siya with both parents, if at all possible. So what happened next? Kung napasa mo na yan, napasa mo na sa korte, what would happen next? Now, within 4 weeks, the court would try, really, in terms of dealing with children matter, to deal with it with at least delay as possible. The reason being is that, syempre, mga bata ito, they're growing very quickly. Decisions need to happen fast. Dahil yung impact ng mga decision sa kanila is quite strong. You know, this is a highly dynamic case. The children are growing up, so we need to move very fast. That's the idea. Obviously, ngayong COVID, naramdaman natin na lahat ng processes nag-slow down a little bit, but ang natirang talagang pinush ng korte, for what it is worth, yung sinasabi nating remote hearings, yung talagang pinush ng korte na mangyari pa rin, is mostly family proceedings. So that's what I've been telling Mr. La, kamusta buhay? It's been very, very busy sa family law because of this, because gusto talagang as much as possible with the resources that we have as a legal industry na makater pa rin yung mga kailangan ng mga bata. So naturally, yung target nila is within 4 weeks, malist kayo for first hearing. Pagtanggap ng application niya yan, first hearing. Hindi po to final hearing, first hearing lang po to. This is the first hearing. Before the first hearing, if you've been a part of this process, narinig nyo na yung CAFCAS. It is one of those terminology na natural sa proseso na to. CAFCAS is Children and Family Court Advisory. Sila yun sila yung mga social worker na nag-a-assist kumuha ng for the court. They're trained sa work na to, in terms of dealing with children, in terms of dealing with families, and they assist the court in making that decision. They assist the court by giving reports. There we are. We found CAFCAS, and they have COVID advice on COVID-19. Have a look at that if that's another resource for you guys. They're a massive part of this proceedings, because they will be, at the first instance, they will look at the case and they will look at safeguarding issues. What are safeguarding issues? May mga risk ba dito? May domestic violence ba? May risk of harm ba? Meron ba tayong, so they'll look at this database, they'll look at yung social services, yung database din ng local authority, kung na-report na family na to, yung bata na to sa social services. So they will flag up those early issues to the court ahead or at the first hearing. At the first hearing, hindi, again, I will say, hindi po to trial. Ang first hearing, the court will just try to get early evidence. They will not hear your evidence. They will listen to you as a parent. They will listen to what you have to say. They will listen to CAFCAS. They will ask CAFCAS about safeguarding issues. And they will see kung ano yung ruta nila from that first hearing. An interim contact. Kung sa tingin nila safe, ikaw yung tatay o nanay na hindi nakakayo mo, what you will likely say to the court is, hindi pa to final hearing, but please can you give me an interim contact? So for the meantime, can I have something at least na makita ko sila? Perhaps not this may not be permanent kasi hindi pa nakikita ng korte yung buong span ng evidence, but maybe just so that ma-maintain yung healthy relationship with the child, they may offer alternative contact. What happened as an example during the COVID season is that may mga time hindi kaya yung face-to-face, yung direct contact. So they would do alternative indirect contact, video calls, telephone calls. Used to be, nasasabihin nila, okay, hindi kami masyado pa, hindi kami ganun ka, we need to be cautious. We need to be sure na hindi natin in-expose yung mga bata na to with risk of harm. So sometimes they may think of an alternative to address those issues, such as ang yung contact ay mangyayari sa supervised setting. So may mga contact centers sa UK kung saan yung mga separated parents would meet. May mga playground yung mga yon, may mga social worker na nagsusupervise. The parents would have to pay for the use of the contact center. That's a way para ma-address yung, kumbaga, issues ng dalawang party. If one party is alleging na, ay, pag nasa kanya yung bata, may risk. And one party may say, okay, let someone supervise it then. So that may be a way. It's not always that. Tatanong ng Korte CAFCAS, what do you think about this? So there would be a level of a consultation there. Now, minsan talagang komplikado yung case. Maraming mga allegations on both parties and very, very serious allegations that the court may say, hindi pa ako ready to make any form of order at all. And actually, kailangan ko pa ng more information dahil sobrang komplikado ng case nyo. So what they might order is what we call a fact-finding hearing. So they would say, okay, I need to hear out, ilista nyo yung allegations nyo. We call it a Scott schedule of allegations, yung isang party. And then the other party would be able to have a chance to reply to that as well ahead of a fact-finding hearing. So merong, parang narinig na natin yan sa atin, di ba? Parang fact, very much like that as well. Gusto ng korte to get to the bottom of things para malaman nila, ma-equip sila information as well as CAFCAS kung anong contact ba, anong klaseng contact ang safe para sa bata na to. We always go back to the proceeding is this: what is in the best interest of the children? The paramount consideration would always be what is in the best interest of the children. You prefer, number one, what is in the best interest. Hindi naman ganun kakomplikado yung allegations. The court might just say, CAFCAS, can you just assist in giving us a report about what do you think is suitable for this family? So that may mean talking to the child. It may mean talking to both parents, talking to the school sometimes. So those are one of the other routes papunta sa susunod na stage. The other one is the more complicated one. Maraming allegations. There would have to be a fact-finding. Minsan may drug test pang nangyayari. So drug test and alcohol test, kung may mga allegations ng alcohol abuse or drug abuse, may mga papaproduce na mga GP report or mga doctor's report, so that malaman, let's get to the bottom of this issue. Kasi he said, she said, na ganun ang ano natin. So the court would have to make a determination kung ano talaga yung nangyari. Now, kung nangyari na yung fact-finding, and the court is able to reach a set of facts to work with, and Kafkas as well has reached their recommendation, babalik tayo ulit. One more time, isa pang hearing. Hindi ito final hearing, tatawagin ako ng korte. Tawag nila dito, dispute resolution appointment. So again, as I said, talaga ng korte, diba? Yung korte, please, can you try to agree as well? The reason being is that you're going to be co-parents for the rest of this child. So the court will say, see this Kafka's recommendation, and do you agree with that? So minsan, ang nangyayari in reality, ito, would have pre-hearing discussions as lawyers. So we would say, well, we agree with that, we agree with that, we agree with that, but we can ask the court what they think about it. So minsan, at that time, may instances kami na the court said, kung maliit lang yung disagrees about, oh, gusto ko ng 2.5 hours instead of 2 hours, the court may give their recommendation straight away, because that's, sasabihin ng korte, that's, kumbaga masyadong disproportionate, pumunta tayo sa isa pang hearing just for that. So the court may give their view about that. But halimbawa, the other way is just one of my cases that sabi ng Kafkas, oh, ito sa kanya yung sa tatay yung live with, yung custody. Yung nanay is, they would get some sort of contact with. Ayaw ng nanay talaga. Sabi ng nanay, no, I don't want that. I don't agree with that. So we're left with no choice but to proceed to the final stage, which is the final hearing. So nakita nyo, andyan yung mga recommendation, tinry pa rin mag-agree. However, hindi nag-agree. So the court would have to go to a final trial. Ahead of that, you can give your statements again, a full witness statement na naman both parties. So may evidence na. And at the end of it, the court will make a decision. So Kafkas will give their evidence. Ganun pa rin ba yung evidence nila as they recommended? Anything has changed? So there will be a few months siguro from that to normally about 12 weeks until the final hearing. But at the final hearing, they would then, based on the evidence kayo sa witness box, tatanungin yung Kafkas, eto ba, what do you recommend? So dapat at that time, you'd have to be able to show na, again, we go back to this test, this paramount consideration. And I hope I don't sound like a broken record, but I always tell my client, it really isn't about kung ano yung gusto ng parent na mukhang, who's looking squeaky clean, na talagang mukhang siya yung nasa higher moral pedestal. It's not about what you prefer. It's not about what is convenient for you. Hindi rin anong piniprefer ng kabilang partido. Hindi rin kung ano yung convenient para sa kanya. It really is about what is in the best interest of this child. That's what the court will look at. That's what Kafkas will look at. And that's what we lawyers are trying to also ascertain when we present our position to you and to the court as well. So at the final hearing, the court will make a decision based on the evidence, and that will really be the end of it. As you know, hindi tinouch yung finances dito. This is not about finances at all. There is a separate child maintenance service for that, CMS. If you look it up, meron sila, it's simple exercise. You will say to them, this is the contact, ibibigay mo lang yung contact details ng other party. And they can act like parang, I wouldn't say mediator, but sila yung third party who would ascertain ang level of income ng other parents. Ita-touch ng korte kung sino yung kung magkano yung babayaran. It really is just about what is the safest and best contact. There we are. That's child maintenance case. So pag nagpe-pay, if you're an employer, so there you go. Again, there's a COVID-19 so they could possibly be affected as well. So that's a fairly straightforward exercise. Hindi siya, we will have to talk about it separately. What you need to know is hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, ay, hindi nagbayad, hindi siya nagbabayad ng child maintenance, and therefore I would never ever give him or her contact. Obviously, you can say hindi sila responsable. You know, it's all how you want to put it is they're obviously not taking this responsibility seriously, including the financial responsibility. But it is not a good enough reason to completely forbid contact. So that's what I would say. Is it in the best interest of the child to still the mother? Lalo na ngayon, yung madaming livelihood na they may have a reason bakit late ang padala or late ang monthly na sustento. So you'd have to always get of the situation first. Just like the court, nakita nyo naman na at every stage, they'd like to be able to see the whole landscape first. And equally, they give opportunities for these parents to try and preserve a working relationship as co-parents. Hindi man as spouses, but as co-parents. So even as lawyers, we are trained, we are encouraged to promote constructive dialogue between these parents.
Ayan. Okay, well, attorney, ayan ha. Medyo malawak na yan dahil tama-tama yan, no? Hindi, wala. So, ibig sabihin, maski walang, kunyari, hindi nagbibigay ng sustento, hindi pwedeng, ano ba tawag niya, preclude ba? O hindi pwedeng pigilin na magkaroon ng mga rights, let's say, mga custody rights, hindi pa pwede yung ganun pagka hindi nagbibigay? Attorney, yung ba sinasabi mo kanina?
What the court would say is, okay, edi hahabulin sila ng CMS. And they may have to explain. You can say, hindi mo pwedeng i-preclude, but you can say, okay, the fact na hindi ka nagbibigay, it's affecting the child because hindi natin mabigyan ng maayos na buhay yung bata. But what you probably would say is, tanong mo kung bakit. Kasi kung baka hindi nagbibigay, walang trabaho, but they're still looking for a job and they say, I promise I will try to find a job and it's just COVID na I still want to keep I'd still want to keep looking after my child. So hindi naman reasonable na i-forbid mo yon. But on the other hand of the spectrum, kung alam mo gallivanting sa buong world, sa buong sa iba't ibang trips around the world, ayaw magbigay sa anak niya, then you have a better case. Then you say, please do explain why you can pay for all of this travel, but you can't pay for your child maintenance. I would like an explanation of that before you get involved, before you take on the responsibility of looking after the child, because the responsibility of looking after the child is not just taking him to the park, but also making sure he's well provided for. So that's how I would put it. So that's the way, but it's not for the court. They will probably take it to the court. They'll probably try to hear what's happening, but it's not hindi siya yung pinaka biggest risk. Mostly what we're looking at in terms of risk is risk of harm talaga when there's domestic abuse against the child. That's something that the courts would feel very would be very cautious about. So it also doesn't mean na straight away forever wala nang contact. What the court would like to do, I will talk about this in a whole great detail next week kasi malaking issue to domestic abuse and how the courts would treat that in child arrangement process. So may fact-finding na malalaman. Hahanapin ng korte, kailangan bang i-address muna ng magulang na to yung issue niya, why their approach to chastisement, yung palo or punishment, ganun ba yung approach nila? Is it a cultural thing? Hindi lang ba naiintindihan kung ano yung expected sa kanila dito? Maybe pwede natin silang matulungan to be better parents. And when they become better parents, or when they become better at understanding what's in the best interest of the child in terms of chastisement, maybe ready na sila to have a more involved relationship with the child. So it's not just never ever just because there was an issue of domestic abuse. It's a bit more complicated than that. It's a bit more constructive. Hindi ganun no agad. You will never have contact. So take into consideration. We'll talk more about it next week. Because that's a whole topic on its own.
Okay, ayan. Attorney, medyo umabagal lang ano mo, no? Yung internet, naapektuhan ka rin, no? Nagkakaroon ng effect.
Okay.
Ano sa'yo. Oo. Pero at
Yeah.
least, okay pa naman tayo. At least 90% okay tayo. So yung child allowance doon sa CMS, pero paano yun kung mabagal? Kung let's say, meron ng because of the COVID, tapos meron ng, how do you call that, yung parang delayed masyado o marami ng arrears. May arrears din ba sa child maintenance? May arrears ba? Oy,
Meron po.
6 months ka na hindi
Meron po.
nagbabayad, ha? O ano?
And what I heard is they are very quick at chasing the arrears actually. Maano sila doon? Child
Good.
maintenance.
Good.
Yeah, they are.
Good, very good. So wala palang problema, no?
Talagang hahabulin ka
Oh,
dyan.
that's good. Ronald Flores, bumabati sa atin, no? Hindi ka natin ma-flash gaya na sinasabi ko. Parang namimili yung ating yung ating social media yung parang picker. Sabi si Ronald Flores, sabi niya, good evening, and sa inyong dalawa, mabuhay. Naku, good evening din sa iyo, no? Yung kaninang about child allowance, sabi mo, mabilis yata, mabilis yung CMS, o yung no? Talagang kailangan, no? Dahil hindi pwedeng hindi, no? Okay.
Benefit of the child.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, attorney.
Sorry, kasi sabi ko para sa bata. So mas talaga sila, mas yung no delay principle, mas talagang ini-emphasize sa mga proceedings na to.
Okay. All right. Si Edgar Duway, bumati siya earlier, pero meron siyang comment ngayon, no? Pero siyempre, sabi niya kanina, no? Napaka-informative ng tandem nyo. Si Attorney DQ, very talented, easy to eye. Anong easy to eye kaya? Lovely smile all the time. Pang-legal pa, pang-hiking. Kasi nabanggit mo yata, kaya mong uminom ng no? Nakakainom ka rin, no? Hindi ka nalalasing kagad. Pang-takbuhan pa, saan ka pa? Ayan, tama. May message, may hindi ko alam kung anong question to, no? Sabi ni Edgar, okay. Sandali. Hindi pa pala lumabas. Akala ko nakalabas na. Sandali, ha? Titignan natin kung nasan. Ito yata yun, eh. Tignan natin kung ito yan. Tama ba yan? Ayan.
Okay.
Ayan, malilit. Hindi mo makikita yan, attorney. Makikita mo ba yan? Pero basahin ko na rito, no? Oo, sabi niya, okay, sample again. Para sa ibang may same family setup. For example, me and Irene divorced. Me and Irene divorced. And our 4 children ages 22, 21, 14, and 13. Ano na ang konsiderasyon? Kunyari kung sakaling parang parang ano tawag dyan? Ano ba tawag dyan? Hypothetical, kunyari. Oo, nag-divorce silang dalawa. May anak silang 22, 21, 14, and 13. Paano na ang consideration pagdating sa hatian ng responsibility? Pinag-uusapan niya kayo. Nobody can dictate yata, no? Hindi ako nagmamarunong, ha? Andiyan si attorney. Iniisip ko lang kasi parang, sabi niya, paano na pagdating na hatian ng responsibility as the 2 eldest and adult already, yung 2 eldest adult already, and ang mga computation lang ba will be based on the 2 young children? Anong computation na sinasabi ni, yung sustento niya?
Yeah, I think
O maghahati sila? Ganun ba?
I think, yeah, sustento. So, for the purpose of yung definition ng child of family here, it's 18 and below. So, yes, automatically, unfortunately, wala na yung 22 and 21. And ito yung, ka talaga, Mr. San, ito lang yung ko yung observation ko po, cultural observation ko. Tayo talagang Pilipino, yung mga magulang talaga sa atin, yung magulang sa Pilipinas, na kahit napunta dito, wala talagang edad-edad. Kahit above 18, talagang iniisip ng Pilipino, anak ko to, responsibility ko to, kahit more than 20, 21, 22, 23.
Maski 40 years old, attorney, no?
Kahit 40 years old. Talagang, yun ang, kahit ako, nakakataba din talaga ng puso. Kasi, a lot of Filipinos, mothers man or fathers, would always say, kahit sa divorce, they would say, paano na yung anak? They really feel that moral duty na rin yung anak nila. So, I have to tell them yung legal na position dito is talagang talaga siya kasama dun sa consideration ng korte. Wala na sa jurisdiction ng korte. So, in terms of sustento, yung 14 and 13 lang, nothing stops those parents to have their own internal arrangement about sa older children nila. Because I've seen other Filipino parents who would say, I'll still support yung anak ko kasi nasa university, nagma-masters, or whatever, nagdo-doktor or nag-aabogado. Malala mo, iba rin talaga po yung mga Pilipino. However, unfortunately, dito sa UK, below 18 lang yung 18 and below yung kino-consider nila na nasa jurisdiction ng korte. So that's the direct question. In terms of hindi nila itatry hatiin yung bata. I don't know what you meant, but hatian ng responsibility. Hindi po yan parang divorce na nasa yung isang bata at nasa kabila yung isang bata. They're treated as individual children who also needs to have both time with both parents. So may mga iba na iba-iba yung ages. May teenager na nasa cusp of being 18. We had this in some cases 16, 17, 18 na yung isang bata, and you have the younger children 9 and 11. So iba yung approach then. Kafkas would get involved. Mas siguro tatanungin yung older children would by that time would have their own lives, and you can't really dictate na ikaw. The court would set a recommendation, sasabihin mo ganito, ganyan. At the end of the day, I tell my client with the older children, they kahit nga hindi kayo divorce, mahirap silang sabihin mo sama ka sa amin di ba? So what more pa kung uutusin mo or you order mo. You go try to find your own rhythm ng relationship mo sa kanila. With the younger children, obviously, it's very different. So hindi yung one would get the other child and one parent would get there. It doesn't work that way. Both children would have to have a healthy relationship with both parents.
Ayan. There has to be a healthy relationship with both parents. Okay yan. Alright. Attorney, mag-break lang muna tayo. Meron yata tanong dito si Mary Grace Payumo Zorilla. Okay. Basahin ko muna bago bumalik. Pero huwag mo sagutin Pagbalik natin, sagutin mo. Ito si Mary Grace Payumo Zorilla. Sabi niya, Attorney Dana, paano po kung ayaw niya ng baka shared parenting, no? Sa mga bata at yung child maintenance na na bigay niya is on and off. So pwede po bang kasuhan ng child abuse ang ama sa di pagbigay ng tamang child maintenance? Huwag mo muna sagutin Nadilig mo naman, no, attorney? Okay. Wag kayong aalis, mga kaibigan. Ito maganda yung tanong, no? At parang medyo brief lang yung kanina, nakalimutan ko kasi hindi na lumalabas ngayon, no? Yung kanina. But sige, sasagutin ni Mary Grace, no? Yung tanong mo, no, ni attorney pagkatapos ng ilang paalala.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay na minsan kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, serbisyong mapagkakatiwalaan, serbisyong maaasahan pagdating sa inyong mga padalang balikbayan boxes. Dito ka na sa Forex Cargo. Sa presyong kayang-kaya ng bulsa, sigurado ka pa sa inyong padala. Forex Cargo. Dahil kailangan makarating. Call 0208-813-7064. O ano pang inaantay niyo mga kabayan? Tayo na sa Forex Cargo.
100% all natural. Tasty. Healthy. Versatile. 4 unique flavors. Taste a real sauce. Galettos.
Okay, ayan, tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating show, no? Naka-free attorney Frozen, para palabas na ano, Frozen.